It's April Fools, and you know what that means? A review of Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Obviously. Now I've heard that this game has often been called Metroidvania because you use a whip just like Samus, and to be honest, the map does look a lot similar, but it's its own thing. Well anyway, let's create a new game. I'm just gonna type this name here, Richter, for absolutely no reason at all. The game begins with a little prologue explaining what's going on in the game, but that's not very important. Skip, and there we go! Castlevania! This game is gonna be awesome! So here we are. We see Richter Belmont running at the speed of light and wholly crossing across the gap to get to Dracula's castle. Yeah. The point of the game is pretty simple. As in like the other Castlevania, all you got to do is whip your way through the enemies and get to Dracula and kill him. Throughout the games you're gonna be fighting some classic enemies like the Blood Skeleton, the Axe Knight, the annoying Medusa heads, the flying giant skeletons, and tables. Okay, now that's just ridiculous. Tables, really? I mean, what's next? What, little kitty cats wearing witch hats? That if you wear a special ring they heal you instead of hurting you? Now that's just stupid. I've heard reports that you're supposed to have some kind of equipment system in this game, but I think you're supposed to find a cube or something, which I never found. So instead, we have our old classic items like, you know, the cross, the axes, the daggers, etc. And in this game, they pretty much do the same thing as they did before, so they come in handy sometimes. So let's say you have a problem with a flying boss and he's too hard for you, well you get the axe and suddenly the boss is much easier. In this game you can also get some kind of diamond, which is pretty useful in tight corridors because it bounces everywhere. You can also get cocaine? What? And of course you got the classic dagger. It's not that good, but if you got nothing else... Holy shit. Okay, you know what? Forget about every other item. Just use the daggers to kill every boss you encounter because I think that might well be the best weapon I've ever seen. Speaking of bosses, at some point in the game you get into a room and you get locked in. And then you get into the middle of the room and some big thing starts opening up. Oh shit, here it comes. Oh, he's coming. Oh, the boss is coming. It's gonna be great. Can't wait to see the boss. I don't get it. So, okay, you got your whip and you got your items, but what else can you use to fight the enemies? Oh, and by the way, if you want to beat that boss really easily, just use the clock. It's a real joke. But yeah, Richter is a very talented guy, so he's actually very acrobatic. For example, you can do the slide move, which is actually pretty useful to get over some gaps. You've got some kind of weird whip attack that never comes in handy. Yay! And then you got the uppercut. See, you can play the game like the straight man, you know? Jumping around normally, using the platforms, taking it easy, taking it the way the game wanted it to be. But then, you can be Richter motherfucking Belmont! Fuck gravity! Dracula's castle is separated into different parts. Like you got the alchemy lab, the marble gallery, the outer walls, the clock tower. Yeah, that looks like a clock tower. And the inverted castle. But we're not gonna get into that. Each section containing its own bosses and enemies, of course. Which, in terms, made the castle pretty fucking big. So when you want to go to point A from point B, sometimes it can take a while. But you're in luck, because there's teleporter in these games. You know Kingdom Hearts? Because it's, you know, shaped like a... I don't know. When you activate these teleporters, they allow you to travel all over the castle pretty fast, so that's pretty cool. But this castle does have a lot of strange things. I mean, I knew it was common in the old games to break a wall and get chicken, but in this game there's a lot of walls you can break, but there's only hearts in them. What the fuck? And sometimes you actually get in a room and there's nothing in it. It's just an empty room. I actually got to a part where there was some kind of barrier blocking me, and he says like, there's nothing to do with this wall, but I don't know, I tried to do everything. I tried attacking it, breaking it, I don't know, sliding through it, just doing anything with this wall, but there's nothing to do. I mean, this part just mystifies me. You can say this game has a lot of heart. I mean, literally, there's fucking hearts everywhere in this fucking castle. But the thing I really like about this game, that I really truly like about this game, is it's like there's a lot of little things in this game that just make it awesome. Like, you can see a little bird, for example. Or you can see that hanging man over there. And also, for some reason I really thought I could just sit on those chairs, but apparently not. Or there's also another thing I really like. Like when you stop moving after a while, Richter Belmont goes into some kind of idle position, and you can pass through the floor. Although while we're on the subject, there is something I find a bit peculiar. Every time you save the game, he goes into a coffin. I mean, what the fuck's up with that? He's not a vampire, he's a vampire hunter. Whatever. At the end of the game, you climb one last elevator to fight Dracula. And this is it. You're gonna fight the last boss of the game. There's even a little cinematic showing you like Castlevania and like the last tower where you're gonna beat Dracula. And this is it, man. You just stack up on hearts and you go beat his ass. And by the way, this is the part of the game with the hilarious dialogue. I'm not gonna say anything, I'm just gonna let it play it out because it's awesome. Listen to this.
Die, monster! You don't belong in this world!
It was not by my hand that I'm once again given flesh. I was called here by humans who wish to pay me tribute.
Tribute? You steal men's souls and make them your slaves.
Perhaps the same could be said of all religions.
What the fuck does that mean?
Empty as your soul.
And then you fight Dracula, classic style. He's actually not that hard to beat. Once you know the trick to just twirl your whip around, his attacks never reach you. You just gotta dodge the big black bullets. And he has a second form. And at first he looks pretty tough, but all you have to do is rain on his parade and there you go, he dies. He dies by exploding, of course. And then somebody takes a picture and the picture burns and there you go, you win the game. So that was Castlevania Symphony of the Night for you. A pretty fucking good game. You know what? There's actually a way to unlock Alucard. You know, the guy who was in the old Castlevania game, like the third one? Now, is he good? Nah. So anyway, I wish you a Merry April, a Happy April. It's just... Alright, okay, cut.